Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now look what I got sent. This is from a lady that has an eBay site. Her name is Azrael and she sent me this. Look at this, it's absolutely beautiful and it's the ice yarn and it's called Picasso Rainbow. Apparently it's quite new. So I'm going to do my next tutorial with it. I'll put a link under the video. Look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. Look at the colours. It's so soft. Now this yarn, if you look at it, it's like a chain. Look at that. It's not twisted as it normally is. It's a little chain. And it's got a very fine metallic thread through it, but it's really, really soft. This is the first time I've seen this. Now, I have seen when I go on to Ice Yarn, I haven't seen this Picasso Rainbow. There is one that I keep seeing and it's called Rockabilly. And I don't know if it's a similar thing, but I've never tried that either. And that looks really interesting. But this is beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for my sample. And I want to thank Claire McMillan for sending me this. And Claire's eBay site is called Azrael. And I'll leave a link down under the video for it. So this is what I've been making with that Picasso yarn. I've been making this beautiful rainbow blanket. Look at this. Now, you can do this blanket with any yarn that you want. Just use the hook size that states on the label of yarn that you're going to use. You don't need to use this Picasso yarn. You can use any yarn. Now, the stitch pattern is a stitch count of 8 stitches. So when you do your foundation row, you'll do them in sets of 8. Then you need to add an extra 5 stitches so it's symmetrical and you have that border on both sides. So those 3 stitches and the 2 for here makes up that 5, and that's what keeps your pattern symmetrical. So for this it's a stitch count of 8. And use the hook size it tells you on the yarn that you're using. So I'm going to use a UK 4.5mm crochet hook for this blanket. I'll pop that up there. And I've got my yarn. Now, as usual, I just take the centre out of the yarn, and then what you can do is, it's like a little bun, you just pull it like this, and it doesn't toss all over the floor or anything like that. So I'm just going to pop that up there. So if you're a beginner, what you can do is just take your yarn and tie it on. Don't do the first knot too tight, and then do one other knot to stop it from coming loose. So you can just tie it on like that if you're a beginner, and it'll still work perfectly. Put your yarn over and pull through that loop. As long as the first time you put it on it's not too tight. And then yarn over and through, and we're going to do it in sets of 8. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then do another 8. You do your blanket in sets of 8 to the length that you want it, then add 5 extra stitches. So I'm just going to do a small sample. I'm doing this as a scarf width. So I think I'll just do this sample as a scarf. But if you want to do a blanket, you just continue on with your sets of 8. Now I'm going to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've got my sets of 8 plus 5. Now I've only done enough to do a scarf. I've done 3 sets of 8 and my 5. So what you're going to do now is you're going to do a yarn over and you're going into the third stitch in the chain. So do not count the one on your hook. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do a UK treble crochet. If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet. We're going to put 1 into every stitch. So yarn over and 1 treble crochet into every stitch. So I've done my first row of treble crochets. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn my work. Now into the next 2 stitches I'm going to put a treble crochet, not into that one there. That one belongs to that chain of 3. That chain of 3 becomes your first treble crochet. So into the next stitch you'll do a treble crochet and into the next one. So that gives you your 3 treble crochets. Your chain counts as a treble crochet. That gives you your edge. Now you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and do a treble crochet into the next one. No chains or anything. Skip 2 stitches and then do a treble crochet. Now what you have to remember next is chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now around this post of this treble crochet, you're going to put 3 treble crochets around here. If you're in the USA, that's double crochets. So put your yarn over and you're going to do 3 treble crochets into this space and around that post. That's 1, 2, and 3. And it gives you this little granny cluster here. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then do 3 treble crochets. So skip 2, and then you're going to do 1 treble crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, and then the next one, and 1 more. So you have this. That's what makes that little granny cluster all the way up your blanket. Skip 2, 1, 2, and do another treble crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and around the post of that stitch into that space do 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and you're going to do 1 treble crochet into the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 1 into the next stitch, and 1 into the next stitch. That's 3. And this is what you get. So that little chain is going to give us the loop when we do the next row. Skip 2, 1, 2, then treble crochet and make your cluster. So remember, in chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 around the post in through that big space. Do 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. This is beautiful yarn. Skip 2, 1, 2, and you've got your last 3 stitches to do your last 3 treble crochets, and that's where the other 3 of that extra 5 comes in. It balances up your pattern. So in your last, skip 2, in your last 3 stitches you'll put 1 treble crochet into each stitch. 1, 2, and then 3. So your last stitch will go into the top of that chain. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now these are your 2 pattern repeat rows, this peak row and then the next one I'm going to show you. You're going to put a treble crochet onto the top of that one and that one. So 1 treble crochet onto the top of that one. That chain of 3 becomes your first treble crochet, and then a treble crochet onto the top of this next one. You're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Then you're going to double crochet into that loop. Do you remember you did the chain of 3 on that cluster? So yarn over and do a double crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2. You go down and do your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now a little tip, hold it, if you're doing a blanket, hold it up and make sure you have a peak, 3 stitches, a peak and 3 stitches all the way along. There was once or twice where I had 2 sets of 3 and I had to rip it back. Make sure you put that peak in, that cluster. And on this row, check that you have your chain of 2 in between that double crochet there. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and into this chain 3 space you're going to do a double crochet. Just pull your yarn through, chain 2, 1, 2, and jump down to the 3 treble crochets. So you'll put a treble crochet into each of these stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, up to the top of the peak into that chain space, double crochet. Once you get used to this, it's really easy. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then you'll do 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and into the top of that chain of 3 that's there, put your third one. Squish it in. And this is what you get. It's really pretty. Now remember, when you do your peak row, that you have a peak in between your 3 stitches. There is no chains. On your second repeat row, 3 treble crochets, 2 chain, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, then your 3 treble crochets. Remember those 2 chains in between this stitch here. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. So you're going to put a treble crochet into the top of this one and a treble crochet into the top of this one. You'll always, on the end and at the beginning, have your 3 treble crochets, and your chain counts as your first one. 1, 2. So you've got your chain and your 2 treble crochets. Now no chains this time. We're going to do another cluster into this double crochet. So yarn over and into that double crochet. Myself stuck there. Do a treble crochet. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then put your cluster in. So that one will sit on the top of that one. So 3 treble crochets around that post. That's 1 into that big space. That's 2 and 3. Now no chains this time. Go over to your 3 treble crochets and put a treble crochet on top of these ones. 1 treble crochet, another one, that's 2, and another one on that one there, that's 3. Go over to that double crochet stitch there and you'll do a treble into that one. chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and make your cluster. That's 3 treble crochets into that big space around that post. That's 2 and 3. Move over to your 3 treble crochets and do a treble crochet above here. So you'll always do your treble crochets above your treble crochets and clusters above your clusters. 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. 2 treble crochets, 2 chain, then a double crochet into the top of the cluster. 2 chain, then do your 3 treble crochets, 2 chain, and into the top of the cluster. Once you've done a few rows of this, you'll really get the hang of it. It's really easy to remember. So that's my 3 treble crochets done. So on this row, I need to chain 2, 1, 2 to get me over to the top of this peak. Put a double crochet in that chain space. Chain 2, 1, 2, that'll take me down to here. 3 treble crochets, 2 chain up to the top of the peak with a double crochet, 2 chain, and do your treble crochets. That's 1 treble crochet, that's 2 and 3. Now chain 2 to get to the top of the peak. 1, 2, and into that chain space, I'm going to do a double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and then do your 3 treble crochets down here. 1 to the top of that chain of 3 at the end. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work, and this is what you get. It's really pretty. I want to see that will stand out with a black background. So you've got a cluster row and a chain row, and that is how it works out, and that's really pretty, this size for a scarf. So that's 3 sets of 8 plus 5 for this width of a scarf. So this is the blanket that I'm still working on. And it's really pretty. Look at that, it's a really light stitch as well. If you want it more compact, then use an even smaller hook. Use the hook size for the yarn that you're using if you look on the label, and you can make it any length that you want. You can do this and make a great big long, almost scarf type, and you can make it into a wrap. It's really light for the spring as well, and for the summer. It's a lovely little blanket or throw if you're in a warm country and it gets cold at night. It's a lovely blanket for that as well. So give this little pattern a try. I don't even know what to call it. I don't have a name for it. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm nearly at 200,000. Keep going, people. Keep going. Keep subscribing. And it's great moral support if you subscribe to my channel. And if you click on the bell icon, then YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. And give this little rainbow blanket a try.